deadly force. Does that mean that Joe Biden was authorizing the FBI to if it came to that and he resisted arrest, it would be okay to kill Donald Trump? The FBI and the Democrats keep saying things like Trump is a threat to democracy, but Biden is authorizing deadly force against his political opponent.
The show's name is Mornings with Maria. It's too early to be drunk. But here you have it, Maria Bartiromo sounding like she's drunk on her own show in regard to the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago following the fact that Trump was refusing to hand over classified documents that he took home with him from the White House. Now, this story is just so dumb and it makes me hate politics, right? I hate the dishonesty in politics, John. Like, yesterday, there was a big brouhaha about how, Trump is promoting the Third Reich, a unified Reich. And it was because a stupid staffer of his used a video template and forgot to delete some of the, preloaded text. And so the Biden administration and the Biden camp, I should say, totally took advantage of that, exploited it for political purposes and campaigned on it. And now you have this ridiculous notion that the Biden administration had called for the FBI to use lethal force against Trump as they were doing a search of his Mar-a-Lago home, which makes no sense when you just go back and read the details of how that search was done. The FBI, when they do raids, or when law enforcement, when they do raids, typically they don't call ahead of time and say, hey, Secret Service, we're gonna come and we're gonna search your property. We're gonna search Trump's property. We wanna make sure Trump's not there, right? We wanna make sure Trump's not there. And then they came and they searched the property. That's what they did. Which, by the way, didn't even need to happen if Trump just handed them the stupid documents. Okay, multiple times. The federal government's like, Trump, please, can you please give us the documents you took home with you? Please just give it back to us. Please, we really don't want to search your home. Wouldn't do it. They end up searching his home. They find a lot of documents. 4 months later, they find additional documents. But anyway, before I give you more details on this ridiculous argument, any thoughts, John?
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
Yeah, look, I know a lot of people think, I know Cenk has said that he thinks the main reason that Trump kept the documents is so he could like sell them or something, but I don't think that's the main reason I kept them. I think the main reason he kept them was to generate stories like this to torment you for years on end. I think it's mainly that. Yeah, see, you compared it to the Reich thing, but honestly, I don't even think it's the same thing. Because like Biden leaping on the Reich thing, he's leaping on it because it's sort of consistent with a through line of the Trump thing, is the fascism, and his followers love making him out to be this massive villain, Thanos and all that. And he talks about wanting to use the FBI like the Gestapo and stuff like that. It sort of fits into a narrative. But when Maria Bartiromo and the rest of them are trying to claim that this boilerplate document that the FBI has for every raid, that literally is not an allowance for lethal force, it is an incredibly tight restriction on when you can use it. Basically saying, if they're trying to kill you, you can defend yourself, which Fox has always believed cops should be able to do, except in this case. That's not consistent with Biden. It's consistent with Trump, the version of it that they want. And so it's even more ridiculous. Like, I get that Maria Bartiromo, she has a producer or something, probably a crazed right winger that sees this going around. It's like, oh my God, if that's true, that's amazing. It's not. That should be the whole conversation. Yeah. Except it's not, because Maria Bartiromo and her team, you can't have any higher ethical expectations than you would for some random person on Rumble or Kick at this point.
Yeah, look, I just, what I see, I connect the dots because I think both sides are being intentionally dishonest in an effort to campaign. And in this case, here's where they're not similar. In this case, we're talking about allegations against the Biden administration and the FBI that are just untrue and actually could incite violence, because think about it. I mean, they're pushing this narrative that Biden ordered for the FBI to use deadly force against Trump during their FBI search of his Mar-a-Lago residence, when number one, Trump wasn't even there, and the FBI ensured he wasn't there. Number two, messages between the FBI and the federal government made abundantly clear that they didn't even want to do the search. They didn't want to do the search because they were concerned that it was going to make the FBI look bad to carry out a search of a former president's home. So they didn't want to do it. They pushed back, but ultimately they had to do it. And then they also were in touch with the Secret Service to let the Secret Service know, hey, we're going to come by, we're going to do this search, we need to get those classified documents, yada, yada. Like, that's not how raids happen, by the way, toward normal people. When normal people get raided, no one hits up your household to let someone know, hey, we're gonna do this raid, okay? They don't call to make sure that you're not gonna be there when they do the raid. Like, it's just ridiculous. And then one other thing I'll say, one thing before I forget, because I know I'm gonna forget this point, I really wanna make it. So, look, I don't agree with this, but you have to kind of think the way the right wing thinks to understand that they would make the same argument that you made, John. You know how you said that, the United Reich argument against Trump is consistent with, a certain narrative that Trump has, or certain behavior that Trump has displayed, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the right wing would argue that the FBI potentially using deadly force against Trump is consistent with how the deep state has treated him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get. Again, I know we're talking about, Marjorie Greene is saying they're gonna kill him, and Trump is like, they're locked and loaded. Okay, then why don't they do it? If it's the deep state and it's George Soros money and it's this big plot and it's the demon and it's clones and it's robots, then why don't they do it? Why is he still alive? I think that's a great question. To the violence though, how many stories would you say you've covered through your career of cops busting down a door during a raid and throwing a flashbang into a crib, or shooting a dog, or shooting Breonna Taylor, or whatever? Like, not there was a paper, they killed people or disfigured them, mutilated them, brutalized them. Has Fox ever cared as much about that? Let's say all of those combined, as they do today about this document.
No, because those stories were not convenient for their political messaging and for the audience that they've been fully captured by, who want to hear about all these like fear-mongering stories regarding the deep state targeting Trump. When, by the way, Trump didn't even need to deal with the search at all if he just returned the documents. That's it. Yeah. Like, there'd be no case, there would be no search, but he refused to do it. And even after the FBI searched his home, 4 months later, it was discovered that he had more documents in his home. We covered that story yesterday. Yeah. Now, if you're wondering, okay, what spurred this ridiculous talking point? Well, there were newly unsealed court documents related to the classified documents case. And in it, it revealed that one filing from Trump's team that said that the FBI was allowed to use deadly force. Now, that's standard operating procedure. They use deadly force when they feel that one of their agents is confronted with an imminent threat, someone threatening their life. They are allowed to use deadly force if they are met with someone or a group of people who appear to be attempting to use deadly force against them. That's just standard. Now, obviously, the cops use deadly force during raids against ordinary Americans all the time, but the filing omitted the full policy statement of the FBI and the DOJ. According to the FBI's website, regarding their policy on the use of deadly force, FBI special agents may use deadly force only when necessary, when the agent has a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the agent or another person. If feasible, a verbal warning to submit to the authority of the special agent is given prior to the use of deadly force. Again, you have the FBI coordinating with the Secret Service, which every former president has the protection of. So the idea that the intent was to use deadly force against Trump, who wasn't even at Mar-a-Lago at the time, is absolutely ridiculous. The Justice Department website also outlines that deadly force cannot be used to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject, disable moving vehicles, or against those whose actions are a threat solely to themselves or property unless they pose a danger to officers or other individuals. Also keep in mind that the search warrant was executed, again, I know I keep repeating this, but it really, really matters. He wasn't there. It was executed when Trump wasn't even at Mar-a-Lago. Now, that didn't stop Trump from from basically putting this out into the ether on the internet. Wow, I just came out of the Biden witch hunt trial in Manhattan, the icebox, and oh yeah, he's talking about how cold it was. Okay, can we just talk about that for 1 second? This might be the one thing that I like Trump for, because I know what it's like to have to work in an icebox. It's called the TYT studio, and I want to complain about it all day, every day. So like, people keep dunking on Trump for complaining about how cold that courtroom is, but it's like the one time where I actually feel some empathy for the guy. Let me continue. And was shown reports that crooked Joe Biden's DOJ, in their illegal and unconstitutional raid of Mar-a-Lago, authorized the FBI to use lethal. We know that lethal force.
I didn't realize it was lethal. That's serious. I thought it was like deadly. Oh, cool, deadly. That's nothing. That's a walk in the park. Every day is deadly. Lethal.
Oh my God. Thank you for the clarity. I really do appreciate like the certainty, the clarity of the statement here. All right, let me continue though. Now we know for sure that Joe Biden is a serious threat to democracy. He is mentally unfit to hold office, 25th Amendment, okay. Yeah. But Trump didn't stop there. He also sent out a wild campaign message as well with the headline, "Breaking from Trump, Biden's DOJ was authorized to shoot me." The message continued, quote, "It's just been revealed that Biden's DOJ was authorized to use deadly force for their despicable raid in Mar-a-Lago. You know they're just itching to do the unthinkable. Joe Biden was locked in, come on. Joe Biden, the feeble old man, was locked and loaded, ready to take me out and put my family in danger." Okay. It's just dumb. It's ridiculous. Marjorie Greene jumps in with her own, fear-mongering tactics about this. They're just being intentionally dishonest. And that's what bothers me about this. It just incites people. It instills fear in people's minds. It sows distrust toward our institutions. It's just stupid, gross, and super counterproductive, because it's all about Trump and what they can do to instill enough fear in Americans so voters support him over Biden. By the way, look, I'm gonna admit you see some of that with the Democrats as well, although it doesn't go this far. And it just divides the country, and it takes away, it deflects from how little we've heard from these candidates in regard to policy proposals. Like, yeah, it's frustrating. Anyway, go ahead, John.
My final point will be, I think Biden messed up because in this case, he tried to use the FBI to kill a political rival. And as we all know, according to the right wing, it's only acceptable to use SEAL Team 6 for the president to kill a political rival. And that's totally legal, and he should get away with it. It's also fake. It's so stupid. I agree with your first point. This is the sort of thing that they do to make people hate politics, because it's so obviously dishonest that nobody wants to be a part of this.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.